Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. So, anytime you do an out-of-state deal, you'd go to our, it's a web-based software, so it's nat.titletech.com, sign in and hit start a new deal. Of course, we have like some FAQ, like common questions to the left and videos of covering each part of the deal over to the right. Otherwise, you would just go to start new deal and select your customer state that you're titling into. And then here, if you have multiple locations, that you can, select your location for from the drop down. I know sometimes with multiple stores, there will be one title clerk, so she can navigate that way. Do you guys have multiple locations?
No.
Okay, okay. So that wouldn't pertain to you. Let me input a deal number.
And this would integrate with CDK, so they can put a deal number, and if they send it over to you, they can pull up that deal number via CDK.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay, and give me one more second. I'm pulling up this
Hold on
deal
one
number.
second.
Okay.
A sweet deal with about 15,000 down. Where's the best place?
Is it finance or is it commercial only?
No, it's his name.
Oh, you could go GMF Outlet or Chase. You're going to be your best. If it's the actual work truck.
No, it's a Suburban.
Okay, yeah,
Green flag.
yeah, you can go Chase or Chase, GMF, the Outlet.
Laverne and Carroll.
Oh yeah, I would try those three. Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So, if you're integrated, you would just put the deal number in from CDK, hit load deal. Of course, I don't have integration, so it's going to say not found. It does have to have a deal number in there, but it would just pull everything that's in CDK into our system. So that saves even more time. Otherwise, you would just manually input the VIN number and hit load vehicle, and it will populate the vehicle type. And then we just need to select whether we're doing a cash, finance, or lease deal. I'll show you finance. That way you can see the lien holder side of things. And then we would select if we're going to do a plate transfer or not. Now, this is solely for the purpose of fees. There's no system that electronically links every state, but it will affect the fee calculation. Now, we can either run a full deal or a fee calculation only. And I'm going to show you a full deal. That way you can see both the forms and the fee calculation. At this point, you've got your customer in front of you. I mean, like I said, it varies per dealership on where this starts exactly, but this is going to give you any state-specific notices to communicate to your customer up front. So, for instance, we've got an emission notice and a transfer restriction for New York, and then we will hit continue. And any previous deals I was working on, this VIN number are going to pop up. So, as you can see, I've demoed with it quite a bit. Here's the finance deal. So I'll go ahead and load the deal because this is kind of what it would look like if you were integrated with CDK. Most of the information would already be filled out. So, or you can, start a new deal from scratch. And it's going to take me to the owner information. Anything that you see in the system that's outlined in red, that's going to be required information to do the fee calculation and print the forms. Of course, this is going to fill out your DMV forms, so I suggest filling it out as much as possible. So I'm just going to put some random numbers in here so that you can see it populate in. And then you can add the primary address, and this is going to be how it, of course, tells you which DMV your customer's paperwork would go to. So then I select next, or I can tab down over to the left, and it's going to take me to my vehicle information. So it did populate the VIN number from that first page. It pulled it over. And it actually populated most of this for me. So for instance, the first time I filled this out, I did not have to put the shipping weight in, and that is required. Any information it has on that VIN number is going to pull into the system. And then I just had to select whether it's new or used, and then whether it's private or commercial. And then also, if at any point you have any questions and I need to go back to something, please let me know. You can interrupt me. I won't mind. Just want to make sure. It's pretty simple, but of course, if there's any questions, let me know. All right. Then we have our,
So,
oh, go
quick
ahead.
question. So like for starting out, when they're working the customer out on the desk, is there like a quick view to not have to fill all this info in, since they're not actually registering at the time, they're just like desking the customer to get the actual fee for, like, say the customer's in New York, like you have, they go in there, they load the bin, put the customer's name, and then get what the fee is, and then input it into the, you know, the DMS for the car deal?
Yeah, what they can do is they can just put the, like, for instance, anything that's highlighted in red, that's going to be what you need to get that fee calculated. But it would have to, anything in red would have to be filled out, and you can do the fee calculation and then go back to that deal number because it will save it.
Yeah. So
So
obviously,
yeah,
like so basically they need VIN number, state, name, the real basic info, like stuff we would already have.
yeah,
And then they can look up what the actual fees will be to be able to desk the deal.
right, correct,
And then when we actually go and register it later on, we can fill the rest of it in, correct?
right. That's correct.
All right, that's easy.
And then we can put any trade-ins the customer has. You would just load the VIN number and it would fill any information out based off that VIN number, kind of like that previous page that you saw. And you can add trade-in lien holders down here. On here, it'll allow you to put in up to 4 vehicles on your own. If the customer, in the rare case, a customer had more than 4, you could just give us a call. We'll manually input the rest for you. But then we can go to our purchase information. Now, this page is really important that it's not guessed or estimated on because it will affect the fee calculation. Now, we back our fees. So if for some reason the fees were incorrect on our end, we will reimburse your dealership. That way you're not having to eat that cost or go back to your customer. But we would just select whether we're going to ship the vehicle. You can add any extended warranties. Anything taxable in that state is going to have a field right here for you to fill out. You know, some pages look different in different states. Like I've seen it where there's only 3 fields right here. It just depends on what state you're titling into. You can add a trade-in allowance. Now, I will spend a little bit of time on the net processing fee. So this is something we provide you so that you can make the money back that it takes to run this deal through the system by passing that on to your customers. So, I mean, you can pay for it and just put in 0 and not charge your customer back. You can add the exact amount that it takes to run the deal, that transactional fee of $90.98. But what most of the dealerships do that I work with, I usually see anywhere from $150 to $200 charged back to the customer. That way, I mean, if you were to charge $200 to the customer and say, hey, I'm taking care of your registration for you, you don't have to go into the DMV, this is what we charge. You're not only making back that $90.98, but you're making back the monthly subscription off of one out-of-state deal. Anything after that is going to be additional revenue. Like, for instance, the second deal can pay for your integration. And then anything after the second deal is going to be, you know, profit. So that's completely up to you how you guys want to do business. But you can put any number in there that you want. But like I said, the sweet spot I typically see is anywhere from 150 to 200 charge back.
Gotcha.
All right. Then we go to our lien holder information. So I just put in Bank of America. The other information is not required. You can add additional lien holders as well, put in the address. Of course, the lien holder code, I'm sure you know, can vary per state. So always check with your lien holder to make sure you have the correct code if you're going to put that in. Then we go to our registration information. Again, this is basic information that was on the first page. For New York, it wants to know whether or not it's within the city limit. And then like I said, anything that's in CDK would pull over automatically. So we can input insurance information, request a paper title. But at this point, this is going to be where we can select whether we're going to use a private tag agency. If you did choose a private tag agency, you would just hit this drop down and you can tell the customer, hey, you know, I know that these companies have a little more incentive to get the registration done in a timely manner and, you know, faster than the DMV, of course. So, of course,
So
they charge a fee.
I think we have 50 state AA triple or 50 state AADA or whatever that we use for our title. for out-of-state
Okay.
ones. So that could
Yeah,
be one of
so-
our ones that you
Yeah.
can select that and use that, and then everything would go to them.
Yep, that's right. And it will pull that $239 that they charge into the fee to collect from the customer. If not, you can just use the DMV location if your customer doesn't want to pay that additional fee, and it'll tell you exactly where to mail everything. Now is going to be where we would, okay, so the $90.98 transactional fee to run a full deal is broken down into two fees. And I will send this, I don't know if I've sent this to you already, I can't remember, but I'll send you the demo recap that has the link and has pricing, everything you need to know. But that $90.98, it breaks down into the fee calculation is $34.99. And the DMV forms are $55.99. So that's where we're getting that $90.98. So right here, the first time we select this, we would be initially charged $34.99. Now, we only charge once per deal number. So you can go back and change anything you need, rework this deal. It's not going to charge you each time. It's only initially when you run that deal.
Is it going to charge us just to get the fees?
It will charge $34.99 for the fee calculation.
So every card, so every out-of-state deal we desk to get those fees. So we can't do it when we desk them. We have to do it once we make the deal. Because we'd have to say, well, this is including your license fee. We have to add license.
But we typically use a certain amount anyway. If we just
Yeah,
have one
but if
person,
they're
should cover
taking, yeah, if they're taking it out, I'm talking about their actual license, their
it. Yeah,
registration.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I was just
Perfect.
Okay. So, and then it's going to take us to a line by line breakdown of where we're getting those fees. It's going to show the, sales tax amount, sales tax percentage, sorry. And then the two main things to pay attention to on this page is the total taxable amount for New York is up here. And then this is what we're going to collect from the customer. Now, keep in mind our demo partition states in Florida, so they have a reciprocity tax, so it's showing a tax amount due to Florida. If your state does not have a reciprocity tax, then that would not apply to you. It wouldn't be there. But this is what we would send to New York, and this is what we would keep for our dealership to make back that money.
What? This is the sales tax, though. What if we already have our sales tax baked into our car deal?
What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
Because this is a sales tax, right?
This
Not
is
a license tax?
this is the fee that goes to New York
For sales tax, though, or for registration license fees?
for registration and licensing.
Okay, because it threw me off because it says sales tax. So I was like, here we have registration and we have sales tax in
Yeah.
Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, so this is just what's going to New York.
And it says, so they only charge $71 for registration in New York, but they charge use tax. Is that
So yeah, it's
like
going to
Arizona
show
has
a
sales tax? They have registration. I was just wondering because this one says sales tax. I was just trying to figure out.
yeah, sorry. And I'm sorry. I have actually never been asked that. So sorry if I was stumbled for a minute. But I mean, we are going to provide anything that has to be paid to that state, and it will show you a breakdown of exactly what they're charging in that state. And then, like I said, you send this to New York, you keep this for your dealership to make back that money. It's going to list any of those state-specific notices. Again, that way it's not overlooked. You can communicate those to your customer, and then we print our registration forms. It's going to pull everything that's in the front end of the software into the forms in PDF form. So I will show you those once they pop up, and then I can enlarge them real quick. 1 second. All right, so can you see them well? Because sometimes I know it looks small
Yeah.
on the other end. Okay. So we have anything that was input into the system, as you can see, is pulled into the PDF forms. You can go through and, of course, add anything, but we are going to give you everything you need. We'll also include some of our own, paperwork in here. It's just to keep you from having any errors or delay in processing. Like, we're going to tell you to pay close attention to the check payable to section. I know I've had feedback from title clerks that have said that they made the check out to the DMV's name and it came back because it had to be something very specific. So it was just really frustrating for them. So we're going to tell you exactly who to make the check out to, where to send it and everything. We have our notice of lien. We'll even flag you if that state requires a wet signature. So with a yellow signature box, not every state has this, but New York does. It has several wet signature boxes flagged. And then we have our title application checklist. So we'll provide this with every deal. It's just, you know, for your peace of mind, very detailed so that no mistakes are made when sending it off to the DMV. Of course, it's tailored to that state. Everything is actually county specific. So, you know, everything's correct down to the county.
Can these be signed via power of attorney?
You will have the there is a power of attorney in here.
I'm saying though, but like if we do an Arizona power of attorney, can these New York forms be signed via power of attorney?
You know what?
The customer's here with finance, but finance doesn't register the cars. So we wouldn't know what forms we would need signed until later on when they were registering the cars when they did this.
I know that I've had finance have the customer sign and then like sign where needed, and then you can go back and reprint. Let me just double check with my my product specialist, and I can follow up with you and get an exact answer on that. I don't want to steer you the wrong way. But to my knowledge, most people will get most of the paperwork, you know, since it fills it all out, they'll have the customer sign it and then put it to the title clerk. But let me double check on that. So this is going to be your payment information, who to make the check out to. So if you were using the private tag agency, if we had selected 50 state, it would show 50 state exactly who to make the check out to. This is going to be your box for if you're using the DMV. Then we have our mailing instructions. So we'll let you know exactly where to send it. We'll even provide you with a phone number, of course. You know, we're trying to avoid you having to call the DMV, but if you had any questions just for your peace of mind, we'd provide you with that as well. That way you don't have to Google. And then you can input a contact for whoever you would want to be contacted at your dealership should the DMV have any questions, or the private tag agency. And then we'll provide you with a license plate destination form. So you would choose whether you want it to go to the customer or to the dealership, input the name, mailing address, and select your shipping options. So you can have it sent directly to them. All right, more state-specific forms. And then right here is going to be just, we'll provide this on every deal as well. This is the NAT deal summary. So it's just going to, you know, have everything condensed to one page. One more thing for the private tag agency or DMV to reference. And then this is our statement of transaction. New York has quite a bit. And then we're going to have the odometer and damage disclosure statement with another wet signature required. So that's it. As you can see, it's really simplified. It just streamlines everything and gets it done pretty quickly with accuracy, and just enables you to not have to do so much manual work. Now, what I'm curious to hear, you know, your feedback and what you would see would bring the most value to you guys. Or if I missed anything that you were hoping to see.
No, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, are you guys thinking that this would be of value to you, or, you know, what are your thoughts?
My only concern is that, like, the desk and the finance don't register the cars. So it gets done upstairs by the title clerk, but then all this would have to be done before going upstairs with the customer here to get, you know, signature. So that's going to be the hard part, is that we're not the ones that actually do the car registration.
Okay. And I'll talk to the product specialist to see what they say. And I'll get with an account manager to see what they suggest. I know that I've heard people sometimes mail it to the customer to be, overnighted back to them. That way they have the wet signature. And not every state requires this. So only
Yeah.
certain states require it. So you wouldn't always have to run into that. But let me get with the product specialist and I can get back to you today. And I'll just put it in
Cool.
with the email.
Yeah, perfect, for sure. Let us know.
Okay. So would you like me
Awesome.
to follow up with you via email or what's best
Yeah,
for you?
Email's good, and then we can reach out to you once we get the email.
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you joining me today and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.